What's up, guys? Scoob from Dirt Soldiers MX and the Motocross Training Academy. I love this show, Behind the Dream. This show is really, really good, and me and my boy watch it, and I just love this show, and it really shows you how tough, as you move up through the ranks of motocross racing, supercross racing, how tough it can actually be when you get to the level of someone like, we see Adam Cincerello here, and Ken Roxon. This is Adam's dad, Alden Baker. But there was a part in this show, I was watching it last night, me and my boy always watch this, where Adam Cincerello's dad says something to him here, and it really struck me, because what happens is, I'm going to play it for a minute, I'm just going to set it up for you and let you hear what they say, and then, you know, it's motocross. You always got to be giving your best effort. If you're serious about this sport, you always got to be giving your best effort. You always got to be pushing. You always got to be trying to up yourself to do better, to push through your barriers. Man, this is why I love this sport, because it makes you become a better person in all walks of life, all areas of life. It sets you up for everything. This is the greatest sport in the world. I'm telling you, it really is. And you know what happens is you. I read this thing the other day where it said, you know, I started to think, why is this sport like so intense, and so what makes it so addicting for the people who get addicted to it? Because I call it engraved in your DNA. Once it bites you, the motocross bug, it just bites you hard, man. I'm 41 years old, and the thing hasn't left me, you know. But and I think what it is I read this thing the other day in a book that had nothing to do with motocross. It was more to do with you know, bettering your life, like a personal development kind of book. But what it says is, what it was talking about was full engagement. And what full engagement is, you know, in this world right now with our cell phones and our computers and everything, we're not like fully engaged in stuff. For example would be, you know, just when your kids are talking to you, I'm severely guilty of this. My kid will be like severely wanting to tell me something, and I'll be kind of on my phone and half pretending like I'm listening to them, and I'm not fully engaged, you know. And they sense that. There's no doubt about it. They sense that, and they know that. And when I read this, it made me think about our sport of motocross, and it made me realize how you had to, in the sport, when you're racing and you're riding, you have to be fully engaged. You're living in that moment right there. In that book, it also said, if you're thinking about the future, you're not fully engaged. If you're thinking about the past, you're not fully engaged. When you're fully engaged, you're living in the moment right there, not thinking about nothing else. You're thinking about that, your boy talking to you, or you doing whatever you're doing. If you're cutting wood, I just threw that example out there, you're fully engaged in it. That's called the flow. And in motocross, you gotta be fully engaged, because when you're racing, you can't think about the future. You can't think about the past. You can't think about what just happened a second ago when you cased the double. You gotta let that go that instant. You gotta be right there, fully engaged. And you know, for these guys outdoors, it's 30 minutes plus 2 laps. For a supercross race, it's 15 laps. For us amateurs, it can be anywhere 5 to 7 laps. But the thing is, for us amateurs, that's a lot of work, and we got to be very well prepared. Even though it's only 5 laps, you got to be fully engaged 100% for them 5, 6, 7 laps. You're living right now in the moment, right at that moment, and you can't let anything else affect you, the past or the future. You can't think about nothing else. And I just think that's great, and I think that's what really, really makes this sport something special, okay? So, I listen to what Adam's dad says to him here, and I'm going to tell you, I see this a lot. I see this a lot, and I'll explain. Let's listen and watch. Here we go.
How come if I go to a corner, you do the corner right, and if I walk away from it, you go back?
Because it makes me focus on that specific corner.
Okay, did you see that? Did you see what Adam's dad said? Well, how come when I go to the corner, you do the corner right? If I'm not at the corner, you know, you mess it up. And then Adam says, because I focus when you're at that corner. You wouldn't believe how much I see this in my school with guys, new guys, riders, or even guys that's been riding for a while, where say we're just doing 2 drills where we set up 2 cones, and they're not that far apart, you know. The cones down, I make them a little bit of a distance away, so we have a little bit of distance there to practice the techniques. But what the cone I'm standing at, the kid or the adult will come around and hit that thing perfect. Say we're doing a corner around the cone. They'll nail that corner perfect around that cone. They'll do everything perfect. I'll stay there and watch them just go not that far down, and they'll just kind of not focus on the cone down there. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because my thing is you gotta, in this sport, don't just do it right because I'm standing there or someone like your dad standing there. If you're doing that one cone right, and when I'm standing there, or if your dad's standing there, or whoever, your coach is standing there, do the other corner right too. Put the effort in to do it all right. That's how you get better at this sport. You can't go out into a motocross track and just focus on one corner, get that corner down, but kind of blow off the rest of the corners. That's not going to improve you. That's not going to make you better. It's not going to happen, guys. So, I mean, that just hit me hard when I seen that on Behind the Dream and watched that, because I see that so much, and it just drives me nuts. Because if you're if you're going to focus and put in the effort when I'm standing at the cone, do it everywhere else too. That's what's going to make you great. That's what's going to improve your lap times. That's what's going to get you to see the checkered flag. I'm telling you, it's that effort there. When I see a guy come around the corner, I'm not ripping on anybody, and I a lot of times I stop everybody, and I tell them about this situation right here. I tell them, you're not focusing down at that corner. It's crazy because they almost say the same thing to me. Well, you're watching up here. Yes, but you got to apply that everywhere. That's how you get better. If you do that, that's how you're going to race motocross. That's how you're going to build habits that are bad habits, and you're going to not do that good. It's just serious, because I'm serious on that, because you're just not going to apply like you're supposed to everywhere, okay? And a lot of times, like I said, when I tell these guys this, then they start to do it, and they get it, and they start to focus everywhere else. And and then they, just because I'm not there, if I'm your coach or your dad, whoever, put the drive and the focus in everywhere. You're going to make mass improvements if you do that. All right, guys, I wanted to get this video out to you. I hope it helps. I hope it makes really makes sense. And I don't want to go on too long here. I get sometimes yelled at and for going too long. But anyhow, listen, Motocross Training Academy, get over there, motocrosstrainingacademy.com. There's going to be material like this that will transform your riding, that will build massive confidence, that will help you gain control of your bike, you'll become one with the bike, flow on the bike. This puppy is going to have all kinds of things, tons of videos training you and everything. The 2 fundamental techniques, master 5 controls in the center of balance, which is how you ride a motocross bike. And then you put the focus in and you focus everywhere. Get over there, sign up, being released very soon. Talk to you guys soon.